afternoon, everyone. My name is Gupta, and I researched and studied global trends in heat waves and droughts using NASA datasets and tools. My goal was to understand how these two climate extremes are changing over time and whether they tend to occur together. Today, I'll walk you through the motivation, methods, and most importantly, the key results. Climate change has increased both the frequency and severity of heat waves and droughts around the world. While these hazards have traditionally been studied separately, recent research suggests they're actually connected. That raised an interesting question. If these events influence one another, can we identify places where both hazards are becoming more common? My literature review showed that even relatively small increases in global temperature can lead to much larger increases in extreme heat events. Heat waves are becoming longer and more severe, affecting agriculture, ecosystems, and human health. An important study showed that the expected decline in global wheat production due to increasing heat stress highlights why understanding these trends is so important. Droughts are also increasing worldwide, but they're more complex because they involve precipitation, vegetation, and water availability. Studies consistently show that as temperatures rise, droughts become longer and more severe, with the largest increases expected if warming reaches 2 degrees Celsius. These findings suggested that drought and heat may be closely linked. This slide explains why these events reinforce each other. Normally, soil moisture helps cool the surface through evaporation. During a drought, there's less water available, so less energy goes into evaporation and more goes into heating the land. That creates a positive feedback loop between drought and heat waves. The purpose of my project was to determine whether longer heat waves and more severe droughts occur together across different regions and time periods. Identifying those areas could improve climate monitoring, disaster preparedness, agricultural planning, and help governments prioritize regions facing the greatest combined climate risks. My project focused on two main questions. First, do areas with longer heat waves experience drier than normal conditions? And second, are there places where heat waves occur without significant drought? These questions guided all of the analyses you'll see in the results section. For heat waves, I used NASA's MERIT-2 dataset through Giovanni, measuring events where temperatures exceeded the local 90th percentile for at least 3 consecutive days. For drought, I used the SPEI dataset from UC Santa Barbara. I analyzed data from roughly 1980 through 2025 using R to identify long-term global trends. A word about SPEI. So SPEI accounts for both precipitation and temperature, making it more comprehensive than rainfall alone. Positive values represent wetter than normal conditions, while increasingly negative values indicate more severe drought. Throughout my analysis, SPEI served as the primary metric for comparing drought severity with heatwave patterns. Coming to results, one of the clearest findings was that average annual heatwave duration has increased over the past 4 decades. The graph shows a noticeable upward trend, especially in recent years, with heatwave duration increasing by 2 days over 4 decades. Spatially, the longest heatwave durations appeared over tropical oceans, with a particularly intense hotspot west of South America. I then examined how heatwave duration changes over time. Red regions indicate where heat waves are increasing the fastest, and the significance map shows many of these trends are statistically meaningful. This demonstrates that longer heat waves are becoming a widespread global pattern. Coming to analysis, this map shows average annual SPEI around the world. Blue areas are generally wetter, while red areas are drier. Although many places remain near normal on average, regional differences become much clearer when we examine long-term trends. The global average SPEI gradually declined over time, indicating an overall shift toward drier conditions. Because the trend is statistically significant, it suggests a genuine long-term drying pattern, rather than normal year-to-year variability. Here, I looked at how often drought occurred at different severity levels. Moderate droughts are widespread, while severe and extreme droughts are concentrated in particular vulnerable regions in Africa and Asia, helping identify areas facing the greatest long-term risk. For comparison, I also mapped wet conditions. Comparing these maps with the drought maps helps distinguish persistently dry regions from those that simply experience high climate variability. Combining both datasets revealed where heat waves and droughts overlap. The highest combined risks occur across parts of South America, Africa, and West Asia, with Brazil, Mexico, and Venezuela standing out as particularly vulnerable. To conclude, heatwave duration was found to be increasing over time, with major impact in the tropical and subtropical areas of the planet, with the Caribbean identified as the most exposed area. Drought frequency was found to be increasing in South and Central Asia, Southern African, and Northern South America. Heat waves and droughts were found to coincide in South America, Africa, and West Asia. These are the primary datasets and scientific papers that supported my analysis, including NASA's MERIT-2 dataset, the SPEI dataset, and several peer-reviewed climate studies. I'd like to thank NASA's Neurodiversity Network, Ariana and Dr. Kaminsky, and everyone who supported this internship. This experience taught me climate science, geospatial analysis, and working with large environmental datasets. I made a small video for my mentor, which I will play now. I just want to thank you, Javi. Thank you for your patience in helping me learn and answer my questions. I loved our chats about the FIFA World Cup. I am happy that I will continue to see you finish the manuscript. Can I give you a hug?
Sí, por supuesto.
Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.